Welcome back. Wiper leader Kalonzo Musyoka says the hour is nigh in his quest to ascend to the top seat of the presidency in the 2022 elections. In a wide-ranging exclusive interview, the former vice president also put to rest rumours of talks with Deputy President William Ruto, insisting that the Wiper party as of now supports Uhuru Kenyatta in the Building Bridges initiative and the war on corruption. He also opened up about the deep government and known political operatives who he claims are influential in deciding who ascends to the highest office.
Thank you, Honorable Kalonzo, for speaking to us today.
Thank you. 2019
is that, as we look back, people are now reflecting and looking forward to 2020. What would you say 2019 has been for you?
Well, it's been an eventful year. Certainly, it's a year, one would say, of the BBI. It's a year that has seen the country engage in a conversation on how best to unite us and look at those aspects of our nationhood that unite us more than divide us.
Okay.
So, but of course, at the personal level, with challenges here and there, but we thank God. It's been a year when I've seen God perform his own miracles in my life, and it's been wonderful. And I'm happy with the family. We thank God for taking us through this year.
Speaking of, it's been a busy year on the family front and at a personal level. I know that in 2017 and 2018, you actually took a bit of a break from politics.
Yes.
To take care of your wife.
Yes.
I don't know whether you'd be comfortable sharing with Kenyans how she is right now?
Well, Pauline is stable, we thank God, and that's what I really wanted to say. And there are lots of friends who have been praying with us and for her, and we still expect God's miracle in our life.
Thank you. I have lots of questions to ask you on the political front. Maybe we can walk in here and begin on that. There's a lot that's been happening on the political front. We've had the release of the BBI report and many other things that are happening as well, including political realignments, some political formations crumbling as well. Where do you fit in all this?
Thank you, Higa. I don't think it has anything to do with fitting or something. It's like when people talk of one size fits all kind of thing. When you talk about leadership of a country, and leadership, you really have to look at an individual. And I believe this country has now come of age to be able to identify leadership, a true leader. But where it becomes necessary to build coalitions, as you talk about them, then it's also possible. Then in that case, coalitions will happen as a matter of course, either pre-election coalitions or post-election coalitions.
Mahali ndugu yangu Uhuru Kenyatta atakuwa in the next election cycle, nitakuwa na yeye hapa.
My party, Wiper Democratic Movement, had occasion to sit at the highest level, that operational level of the National Executive Council. And they looked at President Kenyatta's agenda, all right? The fight against corruption, the need to unify this country. The party leadership was unanimous that these were honorable things. I can bet my future leadership on working with my brother Uhuru Kenyatta. I say that. And that's very subjective, I know.
What do you say?
It's a very subjective position.
Okay. What do you say to your supporters who are concerned that you seem to have hinged your political future on the wishes of one man, the president?
I know that President Uhuru is not under any obligation to endorse me. In fact, endorsement is a negative statement. Of course, when you have the support of a sitting head of state or one who is exiting the scene, it normally has. There's something they call the deep state, the deep government. Yeah? You've heard of those words.
Those are familiar terms, yes.
The deep government is essential, okay? But on the other hand, it is the people, we the people of this country who decide on their next leader.
What role I had a different question, but now you've taken me on a different tangent. So what role in your view does the deep state or deep government play in the leadership of this country?
Very significant. There's a very significant role. I remember in 2017, I had a bitter argument with my friend Raila because I addressed the issue of the deep government. I asked him, and that was when we were negotiating on who should be the flag bearer. In 2017, I was trying to convince Raila that allow me to deal with this because I think the deep government will not allow you. Yeah?
That allow you
That
to
was
be the
my
flag
argument.
bearer.
No, to win the election. Now in Africa, you must understand there's a significance of the deep government. All right? And this is this statement is out of serious knowledge of what government is.
And you've been in office for almost 3 decades.
The structures of government, of course. I've been vice president, I've been minister many times, and I know the meaning of deep government. Okay? Now let me give you an example. Do you know that the late Robert Mugabe stayed in office for a very, very long time because of the deep government? The army there will never salute Noma Shangirai, for instance. And they never did. Okay? So the significance of the deep government is real. And unfortunately, it's never brought to the attention of the masses, of the population. But that is the government. I'll give you another example.
Yes, and I hope you...
People may see Donald Trump making all manner of statements and tweets and what have you. Yeah? He is normally guided by the deep government.
Who constitutes the deep government in 2019, 2020?
Well, in this country...
Who are these people? Who are
well,
they?
I don't want to talk about individuals, but talk of the structure of government. Structure of government. Yeah? And this is it. This is it. The structure of government.
What happens when the deep government prefers a candidate and the voters on the ground prefer another? In Kenya?
The outcome is what happened in 2002. And this is why Kenyans must always remain grateful to President Moi.
So you're saying deep
because
government,
the deep government,
then preferred...
the leader of the deep government is always the sitting head of state. Okay? Now, in this case, President Moi had a preferred candidate, my brother Uhuru Kenyatta, in 2002. By the population. That's why you saw some of us stand out there and say Atutingiziki in 2002 when I decided to support President Kibaki. Against that time, everybody expected Kalonzo was going to listen to Mzee Moi. But in the interest of this country, and some of us have made terrific sacrifices, absolutely terrific, which may never even be recognizable. To defeat the deep government, it must be overwhelming. As
you read the mood on the ground as we get into 2020,
yes,
who is the deep government leaning to for 2022?
I have no idea. I have no idea. This will become clearer as we go forward. I really have no idea.
Okay.
But you do know, and the Kenyans must know, there's the deep government. People who really, they may not even be loud. They are not loud.
And you say you don't want to name them?
No. No.
Or give us an indication of who they are?
No, I don't even need to at this stage.
Okay.
But when they sometimes act against the best interests of the country, we can name them. But when they're actually doing well, we also applaud that, because that is what runs a country. A country, by the way, is never run by these political leaders who shout loudest. There are men and women who sit and say, this is not in the best interest. And so that's why you see, I'll give you an example. I think a member for Starehe stood in Gikomba and made a ridiculous statement saying Kenyans should throw out Tanzanians from Gikomba.
There was a time there was an animosity over
that was
presence of foreigners.
The deep government moved very quickly, and that man had to apologize. I think it was Honorable Jaguar or something.
But don't you think it is your responsibility as a former vice president, as Wiper Party leader, to tell Kenyans who these people are?
Well, I think...
Because you are educating voters on the messaging that they will receive.
We will be educating them, Wahiga. Next interview.
Not today.
Not today, because I want everybody to enjoy their Christmas and know that sometimes a people's will can be perverted. And
that is why I wanted you to...
Yes.
To tell us who these people are. I don't want to give up on this.
I talk of the structures of government.
But you will not name names?
No.
Okay. We've recently had you being linked, talk of possible alliances or an alliance with Deputy President William Ruto. What is that about?
I don't know where that came from. And in my view, and this is where again yesterday in Yatta, this came out very clearly. We respect each other, respect every leader. But I think it is completely out of place to just link somebody up with another one. Yeah. So I know that people are desperate. I've made it very clear. I made it very clear my working position towards the next election, to work with the government of President Uhuru Kenyatta. Okay. And of course we all know we live in this country. We know there are hiccups. within Jubilee. That's a fact. And those hiccups, I don't want to be made part of those hiccups. All right? I'm a political party leader and working towards 2022. What came out of Yatta yesterday,
yes,
by the way, was, I think it would be impossible for me to go back on that position. Every leader after leader said, we are going for the top seat in 2022.
Depending on what
that was a message out
depending
of
on what President Uhuru decides.
No, no, no. It
because you
depend,
then went on to
it
say
will not
that.
depend on President Uhuru. No, no, no. That decision is independent of President Uhuru.
Can't you see how you confuse your supporters, but how they wonder about your stand when you say whatever another person decides?
No, no, no. I didn't say whatever Uhuru decides. You should not put words in my mouth.
Okay.
I said we are working with President Uhuru towards 2022 and possibly beyond.
But I want to refer you to a tweet that went as follows. In the light of recent conversations and speculation about working with the DP,
yes,
please note that these speculations are malicious. They are an attempt to drive a wedge between me and His Excellency the President.
That was my tweet.
That was your tweet.
Cognizant of the fact that there are hiccups within Jubilee.
What are these?
Right?
What are these hiccups?
I don't want to discuss about hiccups. Those are Jubilee issues. You remember what Mheshimiwa Junet said in Jubilee when we were at Bomas? It caused a stir. Yeah. When people like Murkomen and others went there and showed fury and they were very angry with the whole thing, you could see there was something amiss within Jubilee. Okay, so the Jubilee war taps are their own. Maybe they'll resolve them, maybe they won't. Some of us are serious, seasoned political leaders. Have those tough or hiccups affected how Jubilee is run? I don't know. Ask Jubilee that question. For you to be so outright as to tweet, you know, this is a leader of your caliber publicly stating that the rumors about me working with the deputy of the president are not true. I support the president. Correct. It confused many. No, I don't know. Everybody, I mean, it's street talk, by the way. I mean, we also need to be, Wahiga, very realistic. Who in this country doesn't know that certain leaders are associated with the so-called Tanga Tanga group and others associated with Kieleweke group? Who doesn't know there is seemingly something amiss at the leadership level of Jubilee? Okay? And this is what we refuse to be drawn into.
Haitawezekana hata kidogo sisi kufuata wengine kwenda kukaa na wao watupatie ile kitu itapatikana. Ndugu yangu Kalonzo akitaka kazi, amepewa kazi na Uhuru afanye, hakuna Mkamba anamwambia toke kwa hiyo kazi. Tafadhali mheshimiwa aliyekuwa makamu wa rais na party leader wangu, usichanganye siasa, uongozi na kazi unayopewa wewe mwenyewe ufanye. What are we to make of the thoughts of a very close ally of yours for a long time? No, I don't want to talk about allies of my own. You ask them those questions. Okay. Yeah, some of these things have caused me pain, and I don't want to talk about. Do you recant? Do you deny? Do you refute the statements that they have made? No, Wahiga, people are entitled to say what they want. As long as I'm not drawn into a situation of disinformation. Which is why I want to give you this platform to clarify that. On a principled position which I took. A principled position. Working with President Uhuru Kenyatta. That is a principled position also of the party. I'd be keen to hear from you how you describe your relationship with Deputy President William Ruto, in your words. Well, we have sat in this room with William Ruto. We were neighbors here before he moved to the other residence. We have worked with President Uhuru Kenyatta. I've sat in this particular room with both President Uhuru and William Ruto. We have a history. We have a history, yeah? But I now can understand that William is looking at succeeding President Uhuru Kenyatta. I'm also looking at succeeding President Uhuru Kenyatta. And that is the reality of the situation, what they call real politics. I want to take you back to the last quest for leadership in this country, back in 2017. And that time you were under the NASA coalition. We still are under NASA. We saw you then with Honorable Raila Odinga and the other co-principals as well. Many say that NASA is on its deathbed, if not dead. In your radar, where is Kalonzo Musyoka in NASA? Where is the Wiper Party in NASA? Thank you. Rather you ask about Wiper, not Kalonzo. Because I'm just a party leader. Okay. Party you are a co-principal in NASA. Growing. I can tell you that party is growing in leaps and bounds.
And one of the things we want to do in 2020 is to strengthen Wiper.
Okay. Before we talk Wiper, because I have a question about
Wiper. I know you don't
Wiper.
want to ask Wiper about
No, I have...
Your interest, Waiga, is in alliances.
No, I just want to know the status of NASA as we get into 2020.
Well, we have a coalition agreement, very carefully negotiated and agreed upon. It's a public document with the registrar of political parties. Under its terms, we agreed on a pre-election pact where we agreed that Honorable Raila Odinga was going to be the flag bearer after what I tried to tell you before, the tough discussions, very tough discussions. In fact, we had to sleep over it one time. All of us were very angry. And I can tell you that when I came back, I said, okay, I'm prepared to step down. Because if you want us to defeat Jubilee, if you want to defeat deep government, okay, then you do it overwhelmingly. And I knew that with Isaac Ruto being supported by me, Raila, Musalia, and Wetangula, it was going to be overwhelming. Raila and me and Isaac Ruto met. And I think my friend Raila had asked serious questions of Isaac. What do you think of Steve's suggestion? And then the answer came from Isaac. I'm not mentally prepared. I knew at that point we have lost that election.
I wondered, many wondered about NASA when Kibra came up, because it seemed all the parties that formed NASA went their separate ways, and Wiper did not field a candidate.
You remember that before Kibra, there was Embakasi South, where Wiper soundly defeated ODM, okay? In Embakasi South, okay? I mean, and Jubilee did not have a candidate. We thanked them at that time, yeah? This time, we thought, no, Wiper could have put a candidate there. A young man called Prezo came to see me, and he's going to be the Wiper candidate the way he is now in 2022 for Kibra.
So for you, when you saw three governors from what would have been called an area that really gave a lot of votes to Wiper, when you saw the governor for Machakos, the governor for Kitui, the governor for Makueni at an ODM function in Kibra, was that something that concerned you?
One would have dismissed them as opportunists, I'm sure. They realized because Wiper did not have a candidate there, yeah, this is an opportunity to elbow Kalonzo out of Raila. I think the way, and I cannot blame them. I can't blame them for it. So they were opportunistic. Simple. Because none of them had a candidate there, but it's also their right to support Raila Odinga now that they realize that, then they forgot that we have come such a long way with Raila Odinga in 2013, in 2017. They thought this could be washed away in a fairly fictitious support of a Kibra, which ODM anyway was going to win.
What do you say when some of them say that you've done your part, but one of them might do better in the quest for the higher seat?
That can be put to the test of the people.
And they have even asked that, would you consider retiring? We've heard Kivutha Kibwana say that publicly earlier
Kibwana
this
is
year.
older than me, Raila Odinga is older than me. Have they retired? I think Raila might want to give a stab at it again. Yeah, I'm not even 68, my friend.
So the talk about retirement does not feature in your...
How do you retire when you know the time has come?
Has the time come for you? Has the time come for you?
The time has come. The time has come to take on the leadership of this country. And I want you again to invite you to look at the history of one Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka. And really you might agree with me. The time is now.
When you talk about unifying the country, supporters or proponents of the recommendations in the BBI report believe it offers solutions. Yeah. But those who are against the report say that it does not tackle the real issues that affect this country. It does not tackle electoral injustice. It does not tackle the squabbles of a land that have been in this country since independence.
Squabbles of land.
Large tracts of land in the hands of few and a majority without access to land in this country. And there have been reports around that at the same time. In your view, did the BBI report answer the questions that Kenyans are asking today?
When they dealt with the ethos, and I'm still trying to fathom the entire report, but on the ethos, the fact that Kenyans do not look at themselves as a nation, because we are a nation of 43 nations, and we have allowed this thing about negative ethnicity to go so far. This is why this talk about alliances is all based on tribes. Yeah? The moment people will be able to say, look at Wahiga, and not say Wahiga is a Kikuyu, therefore a Kikuyu cannot run for 4th term. You realize that. This is what has been ailing this country. The moment that Kenyans will be able to say, Wahiga is fit to be president, I think we will have overcome. And this is where Tanzanians beat us. So the BBI report made an attempt, they listened. Hawa ni wazee kama Bishop Lawi Matthew in his late 80s, he's struggling and really listening and saying they want to leave this country better than they found it. But they came up with specific recommendations. But do you realize how many land laws we have? Do you realize Constitution 2010 tried to deal with the issue of even historical injustices? It is not that an attempt has not been made, but people need to internalize change.
The extension of the term of the task force that was working on the BBI.
Yeah.
There are those who said their views are already enough. Let Kenyans now debate them. There are others who feel that a different team altogether should have taken this process forward. What is your stand on
I've
the
not
way
given
forward?
it a thought. I've not given that particular matter a thought, to be honest. But the reality again is the appointing authority, in this case President Uhuru and Right Honorable Raila Odinga, decided to extend. And I had Abasa Kimani, one of the joint secretaries, say there are issues that need really to be lined up. Yeah, one of which is what I raised at Bomas. And by the way, I would myself have wanted to see the issue of the Senate, the relationship between the houses of Parliament, the National Assembly and the Senate, defined correctly. If I had my way, I would like to see a stronger Senate.
You'd like to see a stronger Senate?
Yes.
What would you like to see changed to deal with the issue of electoral injustice? And you spoke about this quite a bit.
Yeah, but I was very emotional.
As part of NASA.
Yeah, I was very emotional about Chebukati. And who was the other guy? The one who went away. Chiloba. Remember I stood in Uhuru Park and Chiloba, my friend, Chiloba, don't mess up this country. I'm happy Chebukati is going home. In my view,
the report is
saying he should go home. And I think he should
adopted.
even be gentlemanly enough and accept that he should go home.
2019 has been a very turbulent year when you look at the Kenyan economy. It's a year when our debt has risen past 6 trillion. It's a year when we've seen the debt ceiling raised to 9 trillion.
Yes.
What role can you say your party has played in agitating as part of the opposition to make life bearable for ordinary Kenyans? For example, we know that your members of parliament would have been in parliament when the debt ceiling was being raised. Did they say anything? What were your orders to them?
They did, and they supported the debt ceiling.
Why?
Just like they also supported the matter of, in order to unlock our economic potential and allow banks to be able to lend. And I hope in 2020, I beg your pardon, that the next year we are going to see commercial banks lending credit, affordable credit, right, to Kenyans so that we can grow this economy. Whoever was there for negotiating that contract, I think was simply not acting in the best interest of the country.
Your then co-principal in NASA actually said that Kenya's appetite for expensive loans will plunge the country into economic anarchy, and then said that Uhuru Kenyatta's legacy could be one of citizens overburdened with tax. Do you hold the same view?
Well, my colleague, that's Wycliffe Musalia, and I know that having served in the Treasury as Minister for Finance, he had his reasons. And of course we share the fact that we must create a balance.
What do you say to those who are concerned that your MPs, that MPs of ODM and parties that are in the opposition are now simply rubber stamping Jubilee's wishes? Rubber
stamping, I think, is again a political statement.
They are not opposing them anymore.
No. You know that, we cannot say they're not opposing. They consult with their leadership out of parliament. In this case, when they're extending the debt ceiling to 9 trillion, they consulted with us and we agreed. And I'm sure ODM also consulted, all right?
Why did you, on what premise did you agree?
Because I've just told you, we need this infrastructure. We need equal development in this country. Let us renegotiate these loans, but let us get those projects that are already underway being completed. Can you imagine if you're just to say, okay, because your opposition, stop everything. Now,
there are those who feel that is what should happen.
No, then they have not thought through. I can challenge them. They have not thought through. We must complete every project that has been started. And also be able to question, therefore, thereafter, whether that borrowing has been properly utilized. Now, DCI Kinoti, and I must congratulate him, because he's really working very hard. He went into details about Kimarel Dam and other dams, okay? And those that had to be stopped, had to be stopped. And I think Cabinet must have sat to say, we must stop this one, okay? But you cannot expect that we'll sit there because people are worried about repayment of the Chinese loans, which I know I can negotiate personally, all right? And I'm available even to President Uhuru to lead a team of renegotiators on these loans, okay? Because we cannot otherwise develop Africa. This century belongs to Africa. And if we are going to continue as a dark continent, no lighting, nothing, okay, afraid of debt, the debt issue, you have to borrow, but manage that debt.
So at what point would Kalonzo Musyoka, Honorable, think of telling the president it's time to tighten the belt?
Now,
because you said,
I believe he's already doing it by calling a spade, by calling thieves, you have stolen, you'll be responsible. Don't hide behind any tribe, don't behind anything. It is you and the law that is applicable. That is why we decided to support. I remind you and remind our audience, that is really the principle upon which our relationship with President Uhuru is built. If he relents, and I've actually been able to say that, if he blinks in the war against corruption, we'll also abandon him.
As we wrap up this discussion, I can't finish without talking to you about the war on corruption. We've seen a lot of things this year, and you said so far you're happy with what you've seen and you've supported the president on that. You said that publicly. But we now know that a section of leaders are claiming that if you don't support the handshake, if you don't support BBI, then it is likely that charges will be found somewhere against you and action will be taken almost immediately.
I think we're eager.
We've heard from leaders of the caliber of Senate Majority Leader speaking quite publicly on that, and other senators as well.
I think this is a case of people, as I say, the guilty are always afraid. Why would anybody be afraid if they have not committed economic atrocities, committed economic crimes against their motherland? Why would they? And even if they are apprehended and brought, I would be very happy as a senior lawyer in this country to defend them. To defend them.